Okay, hey guys. All right, look, I'm going to jump into this NFT gaming space thing real quick. Do my best to explain it. I'm going to try to pull it all together because a lot of people are confused. And there are some really big advantages and really cool things going on, but also some scary things and some disadvantages. And I'm going to go over that real quick. So this is mid-November. Right now, we're staying up pretty high. On the cryptos. It hasn't been exciting the last week or so because we reached some all-time highs not too long ago, and now we've kind of stabilized. But we're in a range between about 60, 68, and hanging tight right now. So that's all good. So while we have a little break from excitement, although everybody knows I have a continual bet going on from a day or two ago, so we'll jump into this concept. See, there's some really big advantages and disadvantages to these ideas. They're new. They're exciting. First of all, let me just say, you got to remember a couple things. And the first you got to remember is 10-15% of the people in America are into crypto in any kind of way. So the vast majority of Americans, if you go into a room of 100 people, start talking about crypto, 4 or 5 guys are really knowledgeable. About 10-15 people are interested. But that's it. 60-70 people think you're just a weirdo. So just keep that in mind. We're not to the point where half of Americans are holding crypto yet. That is coming, but it's not here. We're still at the very beginning of this whole thing. Even though it seems like a million things, thousands of coins, all kinds of different spaces, complete insanity. And how could we possibly be at the beginning? But don't forget, we have a long way to go. And don't forget how few people really even understand this. So I'm going to make a point that's very unpopular right now. I'm going to talk about the danger of these spaces on the overview. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm totally into it. It's super cool. Man, I'll talk to you about a couple things at the end of this video that I'm into that I really love. I put some money into some horses, got some land, and in the metaverse. But we'll talk about that later. But the point is, what's the problem with this? Okay. Let me put all the crypto people into a couple baskets for you. Okay, so first of all, we take all of the population, we drop down to 10%. Those 10% are the people that care about crypto, have crypto, hold crypto for long term, and know something about it. Inside of that space, you've got divisions, and the primary leader division of this is got a banker mindset. This group of people are financial analysts. They're based around this concept like bankers. Their idea, and this is the original idea of crypto, this is the whole point of crypto, is to provide an alternative financial system. People look at the banks and they go, okay, the money's not real anyway. It's not really there. It's all crazy. There's all these regulations. You pay all these fees. Other people are in charge of everything. You have to go through all these sources in order to do any kind of significant trading. If you do anything like pay somebody for something, there's taxes, there's fees, there's all this stuff. It's regulation. So the idea was to create a deregulated space, a space I like to call reality, where I should be able to send you money for something that I want to get from you, and you should be able to send me the thing. And we can't do that. We have to go through all these middlemen. So the idea was to get rid of the middleman. That was the concept of Bitcoin. That is the concept of the 21st century. Okay, get rid of the middlemen. I want a car that you have. I send you instantaneously all this money that in the form of cryptocurrencies. You receive that money. That money goes up and down in value based upon time, which brings us to our part 2 in a second. But this is a beautiful thing, and we can trade directly, and there's no middleman, and there's no concepts of regulations, and this is exactly why all this was made. And our goal on that group of people, the banker mindset group of people, the goal is mass adoption. To have cryptocurrency become the currency that people are doing. Like you want to go buy a house, You don't have to go through 10,000 pages of paperwork. You don't have to go through all these brokers. You don't have to go through all this crazy stuff. You talk to the owner. The owner says it's worth X. You say, okay, I'll give you Y. They say, okay, X.5. You say, okay, I'll pay it. You send them the money. You have a house. Everybody knows you have a house because it's on the blockchain. Everything makes sense. There's nothing but truth. They can't say, oh, I'm not giving you whatever, blah, 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 because the blockchain. The blockchain may be, besides democracy being created in the symposiums of ancient Greece, the blockchain might be one of the greatest ideas in the history of humanity. Okay? In the whole history of humanity. Because no longer is there centralized controlling government. What's the problem with the world and the concepts of various governmental systems? Communism is a problem. Why is communism a problem? Because they centralize everything into the Politburo or the central command, and everyone else is considered like these sort of slave type people, and everything goes sideways. Okay? I mean, obviously I could explain that in a lot more intellectual terms. I have a whole lot of degrees. I could talk about history and communism in more intellectual terms, but I'm trying to make a point. And my point is that communism is horrifying because of the centralization. And the more we talk about centralizing things in America, such as healthcare, the more people bring up socialism and communism. Now, I'm not against centralized healthcare or whatever. I'm not being that guy. I'm trying to make a point. And the point is, freedom is the goal. And this is not understood by a great deal of people. But that's the top level tier of the sort of banker mindset, financial analyst mindset, or philosophical cryptographers, these cryptocurrency holders that are philosophical, that want to see a new, better world of more freedom and less centralization and less manipulation and less, centralized control, and more decentralized freedom. Now, the next section, which is the most numbers of crypto people, is the stockbroker mindset. The stockbroker mindset is probably the majority of all crypto holders. This is the idea of treating crypto like investments and stocks. I'm going to put X money into Ethereum. I would like to see that money rise, just like I would put money into Microsoft or Tesla or AT&T. I'm going to invest in these things. There's a bunch of them. They're lined up like a stock. They're tracked like stocks. They have patterns like stocks. And this is how I'm dealing with it. I'm dealing with it like a crypto trader, like a stock trader. These guys obviously have done very well in the stock market, right, through the 80s and 90s. Just go watch your, Wolf of Wall Street and all that kind of stuff, Wall Street movies, and you'll see what it was like for those guys. Now, we have our new class of those people in the world of crypto. Crypto day traders, crypto analysts, people that are deep into it. This is a lot of people, but I would say we're probably at around 5% of the population, maybe less. Maybe just a few percent, but these are people that are doing multiple types of crypto, trading in multiple ways, and I just made a advanced series of things about wallets and trading platforms for those people. Now, the point of all this is mass adoption. The point of all this is considering it to be a real asset class. The point of all this is growing the respect level of crypto. And here is where I have a problem with NFTs and gaming spaces. I don't have a problem. Okay, I love this stuff, but philosophically and politically, sociologically, listen, here's the problem. If you're trying to get people to take things seriously and you throw up $1 million picture of an ape, it does not help. People go to the NFT platforms. They're hearing all this weird stuff. They're hearing about people selling these pictures for like millions of dollars. And it's not art in the form of like a painter made it like a Monet. It's art in the form of it got created on a computer, and you can mass produce multiple types of these things. Now, The idea here is brilliant because it's art created on the computer, and you have a blockchain, which I just explained is the source of truth in the universe. The blockchain is a way to organize truth, to make people able to see the real process of everything. It's a big deal. It's a really big deal. Okay? Blockchain, like I said, is one of the greatest things in the history of mankind. It's like the wheel, or computers in the first place, or space travel. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. Study what a blockchain is. It creates a decentralized source of truth in all of your dealings. So in a blockchain world, buying a house is like that. It's like, hey, I want to get a house. Okay, cool. The blockchain shows that you're making X amount of money. It shows you have X amount of history. You can obviously afford a house. Boom, here's a house. Blockchain transfer of the funds. Pow, I got a house. Now the house is registered in my name on the blockchain. Now I own the house. This is real. So NFTs are like practice for that. So here's the good news. The good news is NFT and gaming stuff is like practice for that. You're doing something, you're owning a land and a house, but that's in an internet world. It's in the metaverse, where you're inside of a game, you're inside of this world. And that's super cool, man. That is just way out there, crazy cool. But it's not real, right, in quotes. And so this is super confusing to people. And when you go and you check out the number one crypto, advancement right now is NFTs. Everybody's freaking out about NFTs. Well, that's not necessarily a good thing. It's great. NFTs. I got some. Power to the people. Love NFTs. But that's not really that great, because when they go to check out NFTs, first of all, they see really dumb word like fungible. Fungible sounds made up and stupid. I'm putting it out there. I put it out there. Fungible sounds made up and stupid. Other words sound much more serious, right? A tradable asset, market analysis. These things make crypto sound stable and real. We've got a long-term investment here. We've got blah, blah, blah. All these terminologies that are related to stocks and money, fiat currency. These things strengthen the case of a long-term usage for cryptocurrency, a mass adoption. But you hear about NFTs, you jump in there, you go pull up the NFTs and you see all these goofy-ass apes. I'm not mad at apes, man. These things are worth millions of dollars, whatever. Okay, I get it. I totally get it. You own it on the blockchain. No one can argue. And all the people that talk about how it's just a picture online are just dumb. They don't know how it works. And everybody says, oh, just take a screenshot. They don't have any idea what they're talking about. The blockchain is better than having a piece of art. If I had a piece of art, like a Monet, I could copy that thing with a good enough artist and get away with the forgery. You cannot do that on the blockchain. The blockchain is foolproof, because a million geeks are going to be on your case instantly, and they're going to get paid to call you out. There's not going to be lies. There's no lies on the blockchain. That's the point of the blockchain. So when I have a Monet, I may have a Monet. I may have something that looks like a Monet. I may have it worth this. I may have it worth that. There's no truth. There's whatever it feels like, whatever people feel like. That's not the blockchain. The blockchain is truth. So stop thinking about a Monet is real and an ape is not, for starters, because the ape is probably more reliable than the Monet. However, the ape can be made in a million different ways really fast, and the Monet can't. The Monet took 5,000 times more energy and time to make than the ape did. So that's all kind of dumb, because you got millions of dollars of things that took dozens of dollars of effort to make millions of dollars. Is not a good economic formula. When you take a great artist and that person takes weeks and weeks and weeks to create a great piece of art, and then that's sold over a period of time for a large amount of money, that actually makes a whole lot more sense than what's happening in the NFT space. I think most of the NFT space is going to get burned because most of it's going to be kind of nonsensical, like mass production of some goofy cartoon figures, and you sell them for $100,000 and it makes no sense, right? Some of it's going to be core ethics of the whole system, and that's going to be a good deal. That's going to be cool. But hey, let me back up for a second. Okay, but that's the danger. The danger is when crypto is interwoven with games, video games, for geeks in their basement, right? And NFTs of things like goofy apes and weird exploding head moon figures, right? It gets taken less seriously. Now, there's a piece of that space where things like famous musicians are doing songs on the NFT space where you could actually own the song. That's huge. That's a really actual big deal. Or a person is doing a piece of art that's famous, or maybe a picture of their scoring touchdown or their scoring goal in whatever game they won when they won the championship. A lot of these things, they have actual value. So there's a great deal of real value going on in NFT space, and there's a whole bunch of nonsensical value. So we have a nonsensical thing happening with the Shiba Inus and the Dogecoins, which don't actually do anything, and with the NFTs. So we have a group of people now, about half of the people in this space are just screwing around. They're just having fun. And I'm from New Orleans, man. I'm not mad at you having fun, right? But the problem is that's slowing down the seriousness, the Wall Street mass adoption, multiple countries interexchanging currencies. That's slowing down the seriousness of what we're dealing with. So you have to philosophically address that yourself. I'm in all the spaces. I got gaming stuff. I got everything. I don't care. I'm having fun. But I do understand the philosophical drawback of a multi-million-dollar picture of an ape that somebody mass-produced with some changes. I do understand that there's a very serious economic drawback to that becoming a thing. I wish all those guys all luck in the world, all those guys that are holding NFTs of great value. Good luck to you. God bless you. I hope that you have a blast. I hope you get your money back. I predict a very serious crash in the NFT space because right now, I would say every fifth Instagram is about how to make one. You got a couple 100,000 people probably cranking out NFTs right now, rolling the dice. I know that because I did it. I did a bunch of stupid NFTs real fast. Just they're dumb. They're all dumb. Don't pay anything for them, okay? But the point is, it's easy. And when something's easy and quick and anybody can just do it for the heck of it, it's not going to be worth anything for long. So there's going to be a fall apart, a very big reckoning in that space. Now, some things will come out, just like artists. There are thousands of artists, before and around Monet, and Monet's the one who came out on top, and Picasso's the one who came out on top, right? There's all these people that splatter paint on everything, but Jackson Pollock comes out on top. People said the same thing that I'm saying about the apes, about Jackson Pollock, okay? I'm not trying to be that guy. I think it's amazing and wonderful, and anything that advances the space and gets people to understand crypto more is good. But I think that if you're the head of J.P. Morgan and you see the apes for millions of dollars, you're like, this is just a bunch of kids playing around. This isn't real, right? All right, so let me take a quick little break and I'll get back to you. Okay, so that's the general idea. Now, what is it? I mean, what even is it? Let me back up for a second, just in case you don't understand what a non-fungible token means, what an NFT is. It's a ownership property blockchain concept that revolves around a piece of digital art. People are trying to work on ways to do this with physical art. They're trying to work on ways to do this with different types of art forms like music. If I figure out how to do this with food, I'll let you know. But the bottom line of it is, because the blockchain, you got to remember the core of it all is the blockchain. Because of the way the blockchain works, where everyone can have access to the truth about anything at any time, the way the blockchain works means that if it was registered on the blockchain that you owned a piece of art, there could be no denying it. There can be no faking it. So, for instance, let's say, take this picture behind me. Like, let's say this was an NFT, and if it isn't, it should be whoever created that. Um, if it was an NFT, I would own that picture, okay, and it would be on the blockchain. If somebody tried to put it out, I would be able to tell them, no, I'm the owner of it, right? If somebody tried to fake it and say, look, I made this, they couldn't because they could look it up. If anybody tried to make a fake one and put it on the market, kind of like a fake Monet or a fake manuscript from Shakespeare, it would be registered. And so they couldn't do that because they would automatically be able to uncover the fact that that's not the real one. The real one is in stone for eternity on this thing called a blockchain. The blockchain's been replicated and repeated so many times around the world so quickly that it cannot be altered. It's immutable. It's unchangeable. It's perfect. And I'm not trying to sound crazy. You just got to study what blockchains are. So this is why this became a thing, right? Because you could have a piece of art that you could own that no one could ever dispute that you own it. Now, this would be really amazing if, say, for instance, all the music was done like that. Because then you would automatically know who the music was from and who owned it. And there wouldn't be all these games. Like, there's these organizations like BMI or ASCAP. They're just complete nonsensical organizations that basically rob people that want to have clubs and bars and do things. And they claim to represent the writers of the music. And sometimes they do, but usually they represent giant catalogs owned by giant companies, or people like, Michael Jackson's estate owning half the music or whatever. And they claim to own things like the birthday song or like happy birthday. I mean, it's just stupid. The blockchain fixes that. It fixes fake paintings. The Mona Lisa, if it was created when the blockchain existed, there would never be any doubt where the Mona Lisa was, who painted it, who owned it. There would never be a question, right? If the things coming out of Egyptians' tombs were registered on the blockchain, there would be no fake artifacts. You understand? The blockchain fixes the world. It's truth. I don't know. I don't want to get too philosophical or religious, but something is weird about this thing that represents truth as opposed to things that represent lies and deception. We might be entering into theological territory. So now you know. Okay, well, let's continue. That's an NFT. How does it get involved in gaming? Because this is the coolest thing in years. So you know how you play video games? Okay, back in college there was a card game, and in this card game you created these characters, and you could develop these things and go up in level and get stronger throughout the game. You could get these special artifacts and weapons and armor, and eventually you could become very, very powerful and wonderful within this sort of gaming world. And I played this game one night with all my roommates, and we played for like 10 hours. It's a marathon game. It was like this insane night-long Monopoly thing, right? At the end of this game, I had a character that was so powerful and so cool that I wrote it down back then. I wrote down who he was and his name and all the artifacts that he had and all the stuff he had collected, and because it was such a big deal. And then it went away, and now I don't have that piece of paper. No one cares, no one knows, and that's just the way it works. That high score you got, that time you got the World of Warcraft, the most powerful axe in the whole world, all that stuff, that is all changing right now. I need you to understand the cutting edge we're on, because gaming is completely changing right now. The games that you know, how the games you know work, like whether it is, whatever it is, whether it's World of Warcraft or, Pokemon, no matter what you know about games, that's over. The new world is on top of you, a bonfire. This thing is like a raging fire coming down on your little stick cabin if you don't understand what's happening. And it is unbelievable how cool this is. Now, so take a game like World of Warcraft, and let's say you have gear. Let's say you have this axe in World of Warcraft. It's like the coolest axe. It's like glows silver and like blue energy, and it's like the baddest thing you can possibly have, and it's so cool. And you went through all this gaming and all this time and all this trouble to accomplish this, okay? Imagine if that axe was an NFT, okay? Imagine if that axe was minted by an NFT production program. They only had 50 of them or 100 of them in that whole world. And once you had one, that was it. You were registered on the blockchain. So now you're playing World of Warcraft. You're playing it through the blockchain. Everybody in World of Warcraft is on the blockchain. Nobody can fake it. Nobody can lie. Nobody can make stuff up. Nobody can hack it. Okay? You get this axe. It's registered to you. And now you own it. Someone else wants to buy it. They buy it. But what they're using is a cryptocurrency. And that cryptocurrency has real value. So now all that hard work you did in the game actually mattered. Instead of just wasting your life playing video games and being really good at them, now it matters. Now you have an axe that's worth, let's say, an Ethereum. This axe is called the Ethereum axe, and it's worth 1 Ethereum. Well, that axe would be worth over 4,000 real dollars right now. So if I sold that axe to Johnny over in Idaho, who's playing the game and has a paladin and really needs that axe because it's the ultimate paladin axe in the whole game, Johnny can transfer to me cryptocurrency. I can transfer the axe. He owns it on the blockchain. That transfer is registered. I get the money, he gets the axe, everyone knows it, it's the truth, and he has the axe. I can do that in any game, in any way. You understand? It's a combination of gaming and NFTs and blockchain and cryptocurrency. It's basically the coolest idea ever. It may slow us down being accepted by JP Morgan, okay, or Russia or China, but it is the coolest idea ever. Okay, I got to give those guys credit. The guys who came up with this idea, I got to give them credit. Now, here's another thing. Since you own this axe on the blockchain, right, it transfers to anything else on the blockchain. So, for instance, let's say that you're now playing another game. Let's say you're playing Elder Scrolls. And your character in Elder Scrolls can use such an axe. Boom, you've got the axe because the axe exists in all these different places because it's real. It's on the blockchain, right? Now, maybe you're playing, Rogue 6 or something like that. So you've got your uniform. Maybe your gun has a symbol on the side of the gun, or you have a patch on your uniform of that axe. Maybe it carries over. Maybe you have playing cards you're playing poker with, and the back of the playing card has that axe. You see? This is infinite. This is infinite. In fact, one of the main companies has got infinity in their name. This is infinite. You can use this in so many ways, and it has real value. So your loser kid down in the basement for the last 454 hours trying to get to level 60 or 65 or 80, whatever it is in World of Warcraft now, this kid could now be making money and trading it for other cryptos and then making money on those. I mean, this changes everything. Now, one of the coolest ones are made for this purpose. Now, just imagine this. You know how when you go, let's say you play Grand Theft Auto, right? And you're running around the city, and you get your cars, and you go around the city, and you're shooting up the pimps and hoes and all that stuff. Okay, imagine if several things happen. Imagine if you're playing this on the blockchain, first of all. Now, imagine if the car you upgrade to that you can purchase, right? Imagine if that car was an NFT. There's only 50 of these super hyper Lamborghinis made in bright purple, right? And you own one. And now this other guy over in Jersey wants this one really bad. Him and this guy in Korea have this bidding war with you, and they paid $1,700 for this Lamborghini that your character drives. Right? Just think about that. Now, let me go one step further into the world, things like Decentraland and the metaverse. Imagine if that place that you're having all that running around, think about those games. Think about the land, the cities, the country, whether it's something like Sims or whatever it is. Think about if you could own that land like you could own real land. In other words, let's say that they created the world of, I don't know, let's say they created the world of Grand Theft Auto in the internet, inside of the metaverse, on the blockchain with NFTs. And I wanted to own LA. I'm just making something up. LA was up for auction, and you could own LA. It's going to cost you tens of thousands of actual real dollars. LA's probably going to go for, I don't know, let's say LA goes for 10 Bitcoin. Okay, something like that, right? $500 million. But you own it. So let's say that they make it on the blockchain so that it can never be expanded, right? LA has to be LA forever. It can never be expanded. Anybody that wants to set games or adventures or do things inside of that, like I want to make a casino inside of there for gambling. So I go to the guy and I rent by casino because he owns the land that it's going to sit on. I'm going to build the casino as an NFT, and I'm going to pay the guy whose land I'm sitting on. And this is like real land and real development. This is where this is going. Now we're not even in a real game yet, okay? There's only a couple games that even scratch the surface. We are at the very beginning of this. This is like the door is cracking open and there's a 1,000,000-mile long haul after this. We don't have any clue where we're going. It's that big a deal. But if you set a world up, now this is why I say it's going to all fall apart, and a lot of people are going to set up worlds and no one's going to care about them. It's not going to matter. But some of these things are going to become set in stone on a blockchain, and you're going to want to be involved, and there's going to be gaming going on inside there, and you're going to want to have the ability to own part of that world, whether it's a car or a gun or an axe or a piece of land or the Nakatomi Tower, and you own it and built it as an NFT. And it's worth $1 million in the real world because everybody wants to set up games inside of there. This is real. This is what the metaverse is. This is why Facebook changed their name to Meta. What is Facebook doing? Facebook's preparing for Ready Player One, right? Facebook's preparing to have a world where your icons, your character, your whole world of Facebook is going to start existing inside the metaverse. There's going to be a Facebook world, and you're going to have your character, you're going to have, your persona, and this thing that's you is going to exist in there. And maybe you own stuff in there, and maybe you meet with your friends and have a hangout like you do on a chat room, except the chat room is now in a real room with a real bar, with bartenders running the bar. You're paying for drinks. The drinks are actually going to be money. Maybe you own an NFT of the best smoked old fashioned in the world, and now you own that NFT, and anybody that orders one of those in the bar, you get some money. Things like that are coming, and you're having your meeting just like you would, on Zoom. The whole COVID thing laid the groundwork for this. Everybody's used to this. Everybody's used to Zoom. Everybody's used to Facebook meetings and Teams meetings. What if I was, an avatar of myself? What if this was me, but I was an avatar? All I got to do is go into the room with the other avatars. We're all hanging out, having a meeting. So some of this is business related. Some of this is monetary. Some of this is investment related. Some of this is art related. It's a huge deal. And there's billions flowing into this space right now. Billions. So now to finish up, you want to know what to do. Let me tell you my favorite one. My favorite one's called D-Race. Now this is about horse racing. What this is they're making a limited number of horses. The horses themselves are NFTs. You own a horse, you race the horse, you can race it for money, you can win money just like regular horse racing. You're owning a horse. So I'm becoming a horse owner just like the real guys at the Kentucky Derby. We're going to race horses. We're going to breed horses. I go to another owner. Some person in Japan owns one of these horses, right? By the way, Japan, not big on crypto. Very few people, almost like 1% or something. I don't know. Anyway, the point is, let's say somebody, in China owned a horse, and they won a bunch of races, and they won a bunch of money. And I had done the same thing, and we want to get together, breed our horses. We create a new NFT that we co-own, or we buy each other out, or whatever. It's like horse breeding. My horses won a bunch of championships. I won millions of dollars in real money, by the way. Okay, on these horse races. And so now I'm a super famous horse race guy with my super famous horse. And just like Secretariat or Seattle Slew or whatever, now I'm selling out the rights to, stud rights for my horse. And this is NFT, and I own the horse on the blockchain, and I race the horse on blockchain races so everybody can see his record. I think this is like the most genius thing ever. I hope that they do 2 or 3 things. I hope that they interconnect it with actual equine charities and get some money to real life horses, to help real life horses from it. I think that would be the coolest thing. Representing actual horses. If they could do it where they interacted with the real horse racing so that an actual horse, like let's say, Secretariat or whatever, that a real horse had a representative NFT of that horse, and you could own the NFT, and then as that real horse raced, you were racing along with them, and so people were betting on the horse races. They're watching the NFT hippodrome experience virtually, but it's actually connected to other real races and things. I don't know what they're going to do with it, but it's fun. Anyway, let's take a real quick look at this world. I'm just going to show you real fast. So look at this. You can go on CoinMarketCap and do more research. I remember how I told you the top one had infinity in the name. So look, you see how it says cryptocurrencies? You go there, you have all your currencies, right? Bitcoin's at the top, then Ethereum, then Tether, Solana, Cardano, etc. Okay, you see that? You can also simply click on NFT, and what it gives you is the top NFT collections. You can invest in the coins inside of these NFT collections, right? So these are the collections, and if you want to look at other things, you can, like for instance gaming. So these are the top gaming tokens. You see Metaverse, right? You can click on this. DeFi. So this is another area. So the Metaverse is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about how this is the world. Axie Infinity is number 1. This is $133 price. There's a market cap of $8 billion. This is trading all the time right now. This is number 1. This is Decentraland. Man, I like this one a lot. $3.42 right now. This one has got a $6 billion market cap. Big fan of Decentraland. A lot of action, a lot of games, a lot of land being purchased, a lot of things being built inside of this world. Love it. The next 2 are very popular. Sandbox at $3 and $3 billion market cap gives you room to move. Engine Coin. These things all power these games. I recommend these top 4. Now, there's plenty of them, okay? There's plenty of them. And you can see all kinds of stuff. And, yeah, you can drop down into, there's the Eternity chain right there. This is highly recommended. This is only $179 million market cap, which means this could 10x easy. There's my D-Race right there. I'm at 164 million market cap, $4.87 each. That's gone up quite a bit. I've already made 20% off of this deal. But this is that race. If it's the horses. This is what I was talking about. And you can go check these guys out. It's a lot of fun. There's a million of them. Okay, so really it's up to you what you like. But if you go down lower into the $100 million market cap range, you have a lot more room to explode, but you also have a lot more danger. There's Decentral Games, there's Aavegotchi, so you can play with these. The ones at the top, though, are sort of like your Bitcoin and your Ethereum and Cardano of the gaming metaverse world. Your Decentraland, Sandbox, Engine, these are your ones you want to focus on. Sandbox is up 58% in 7 days. So these things are all growing relatively quickly because people are beginning to notice this gaming space. So, totally up to you. Doesn't matter at all. You do you. Whatever that looks like. If you are all about long-term investment, treating this like stocks, treating this like property, that's fine. If you do gaming, then this is kind of fascinating. The interconnectivity, having this idea of really being able to own something. I mean, that's kind of nuts. The idea that all those games I played and all those things I developed, that could be happening in the metaverse now and it could actually be worth real money. That would be just amazing if I started that whole journey over with all my development of lands and cultures and all the things I did over the years with gaming. That would be so amazing. But that's the next wave. I mean, and it's gaming. Gaming is its own world, its own people. Art, NFTs, a lot of those are related to games, like we just said. You know, you have your character or whatever, your thing. That's fine. But you also got to remember that the art stuff also has a core section of art dealers, people that are concerned about the artistic ramifications of NFTs and how that's going to work in the real world and how you're going to make that into something. And there's people that are doing it for art's sake. And then, of course, there's the day traders and the cryptocurrency guys that don't care about any of that. They're looking at numbers. So all these people exist in our world, and you just need to decide where you're at and what you like. I like it all. I'm playing with everything. I have my main core, which is my stuff that I'm staking for the long haul. I'm a hodler at heart, right? But I can't help but play with a little bit of gaming, get a little plot of land in Decentraland. You know what I mean? I can't not play around with some of this stuff because who knows? You know, maybe it becomes worth. Maybe it's the thing that sticks. You know, you don't know which one is going to stick, but one of them is going to stick and it's going to be worth billions, right? Which one? Anyway, that's my intro to NFTs and gaming as it relates to cryptocurrency. This is Dr. Chef. Please look at how organized this was and how easy it was to understand. People need this information. They don't know what NFT is. They don't know what the gaming thing, how it all relates to NFTs and how cryptocurrency has anything to do with that. You gotta like and subscribe and get this to your friends, man. Ship it out. Put it on your Facebook page. Put it on your Instagram. Get the word out. Anyway, thank you so much. This is Dr. Chef signing off. Have a great night, you guys.